Hey, I'm here to read chapter 15 of the report card with you. 15 is called the partnership. Nora has been found out by the school psychologist. He knows she's a genius. She got that really high IQ score. So I'm wondering who she's going to turn to from here. She's already got a bit of a partnership with Mrs. Byrne, the librarian. I'm wondering if she's going to let anyone else in on her plan. Let's find out. Mrs. Hackney had called my mom at work right after school, so by dinner time on Wednesday, my whole family knew everything that Dr. Trendler had discovered. Our evening meal was a smorgasbord of emotions. A smorgasbord is, like, you might refer to a buffet that way. It means it's kind of across the board, so it's dealing with all kinds of emotions at dinner. Mom and Dad didn't know whether to be mad at me for keeping a secret from them or to be thrilled that I was a genius and not some idiot who thought D's had a pretty shape. My mom said, "Isn't this exciting? If we can get an admissions interview and if Nora does well on the entrance test, I bet she could get into Chelborn Academy, maybe even get a scholarship. And from there, who knows? Our little Nora could end up at Princeton or even Yale or Harvard." I could tell Anne didn't like that one bit. She had been the star student all her life, but she pretended she wasn't interested and she said, "I knew that Nora was smart all along." And when Todd heard the news, he rolled his eyes and said, "Just what I need around here, another smart sister." I let everyone else do the talking during dinner, and I didn't volunteer any more information about my report card. When my mom said, "I guess I understand a little better about those bad grades now," I just smiled and nodded. Because that wasn't part of the deal. Yes, now they knew I wasn't an average kid, and they'd figured that for years I had been getting average grades on purpose. But my reasons for getting those D's, they didn't need to know about that. I faced the fact that my plan was ruined. Everyone would be watching me now. All my teachers would know I was smart, and it probably wouldn't be long before the whole fifth grade would know about me too. School is no place to try to keep a secret. After dinner, I went to my room to read, and about 8 o'clock, Todd yelled upstairs, "Hey, Nora, it's your boyfriend on the phone." I picked up the portable phone in the hall and took it into my room. "Hello?" "Hi, Nora." Stephen didn't have to say his name because he was the only boy who ever called me. From downstairs, Todd made a big, wet kissing sound on the phone, and in a high voice that was supposed to sound like me, he said, "Oh, Stephen, I'm so glad you called. I've been missing you all night." "Todd," I said, "you were such a jerk." Then I yelled, "Mom, make Todd hang up the phone." The kitchen phone clattered onto its cradle, and I said, "Sorry, Todd's not winning any prizes for maturity this week." Stephen said, "Maturity? Well, how about you? That thing you did in the lunchroom today wasn't exactly cool either." He sounded mad. I hadn't been ready for an attack, and that's what it felt like. I said, but I couldn't stand it. You heard Morton. He was being awful. And I had to make him stop." Stephen said, "But he wasn't talking to you, Nora. He wasn't even sitting at your table. It was none of your business. I don't need anybody to take care of me." I said, "But if someone was attacking me and making everybody laugh at me, wouldn't you help me? If you could, wouldn't you?" That stopped him. He said, I guess so." Then he thought a little and said, "But it wasn't like that, Nora. We were just talking. And I'm not afraid of being laughed at. And besides, everybody knows that Merton's a stupid creep. Nobody takes him seriously. All you did was make yourself look like a fool." It hurt when Stephen said that. I didn't say anything. "Nora?" I didn't answer. Stephen blew a big breath out through his mouth. Then he said, "Listen, I'm sorry I called you a fool, okay? I'm sorry, okay? And what you said to Merton, it was really pretty great." Then Stephen paused a few seconds and said, "Actually, I wish I could have said that." I waited another second or two. "Honest?" I asked. He said, "Honest. And how did you know all that extra stuff about the sun and everything?" A new fact was staring me in the face. I knew I would never have a better chance than this moment to tell Stephen the truth, the facts of me. And I also knew that if Stephen didn't hear the truth directly from me, it would be bad. So I said, that stuff about the sun, I did some extra reading. It's sort of complicated, but listen, I've got to explain something important. I told Stephen about everything, about how I had learned to read when I was 2.5, and the way I had only pretended to learn how to read when we were in first grade. I told him how I kept all my test scores lower, and how even my own family hadn't known how smart I was. I explained the way I had missed questions on the mastery testing on purpose. I told him how Mrs. Byrne had found my computer files and then kept my secret, and I even told him about Dr. Trindler and the IQ test. When I was done, Stephen was quiet. Then he said, "So how smart are you?" "Well," I said, "Dr. Trindler thinks I'm a genius." "Are you? Are you a genius?" I could hear it in Stephen's voice, what I'd always been afraid of. Stephen was already starting to think I was weird. Weird Nora, the genius girl. And I knew that the next couple of sentences would be important. I said, "I guess I am, but so what? So what if I'm a genius? I'm still me, Stephen. It's not like I'm any different." "Yeah, well, what about at lunch today?" he asked. "That was pretty different." "Okay, yeah, that was kind of different. But if I hadn't just told you everything else, would you have started to think I had turned into this totally different person or something? I'm still me. No matter what, I'm still me." There was only the hum of the open phone line. Then Stephen said, But it's like you've been a spy for years. Like you've been this genius secret agent spying on all the regular kids. And all those D's on your report card? I was really worried about you. And all the time you were just goofing around." Can you see how Stephen might be betrayed a little bit? How he might feel like Nora's been pretending to be something she's not and spying on everyone else? I kind of think back to what she did in kindergarten when she was watching the other kids and then being that copycat. Kind of see where he's coming from. I'm curious to hear what you guys would think about that. "No," I said, "that's the thing, Stephen. I wasn't goofing around. I got those D's on purpose because I got mad about the way everyone makes such a big deal about grades and test scores, too. I had a plan, and now it's completely ruined, and I'm in all kinds of trouble. So how much of a genius could I really be?" Stephen said, "You had a plan? What kind of plan?" "It's all messed up now," I said, "but I just wanted to show everybody that bad grades don't mean a kid isn't smart, and that the good grades don't always mean a kid is so smart either. And I thought that teachers liked giving all the tests and grades and everything, but Mrs. Byrne told me that's not really true. A lot of the teachers don't like all the competition and the testing, especially the mastery test. Like I said, my plan was lousy from the start." Again, the only sound was the hiss of the telephone. Then Stephen began talking, slowly at first and then faster. He said, "Everybody's going to find out now, right? They're going to know you're really smart, aren't they?" "Yeah," I said, "I guess so. Like all our teachers will know, and Mrs. Hackney, and the kids, too. Everybody, right?" I said, "Yeah, everybody. Listen, everybody's going to know you're this genius now, so everyone thinks you're going to be that way. Super smart, right? And they're all going to think that now you'll get great grades and do the gifted program and stuff, right?" "Yeah," I said, "probably, especially my parents." Stephen could barely get the words out. He was talking so fast. He said, "So what's everybody going to expect now, right? This super, super smart kid. But what if you don't do that? What if you don't do what everybody expects? Like you break the regular rules about being smart and you start playing by different rules. Your rules." He paused, waiting for my reaction. But he couldn't wait. "See what I mean?" he asked. "Do you get it?" Stephen's idea wasn't like a light bulb turning on. It was like a blast from a laser cannon. I almost shouted, "Stephen, that's a fantastic idea. You're a genius." Stephen and I kept talking, and in just 10 minutes, a new plan was born. A better plan. An amazing plan. Something else happened as we talked. Something that made those 10 minutes the best 10 minutes of my life. Because during those 10 minutes, our friendship changed completely. Our friendship became a partnership, an equal partnership. The new plan involved some risks for me and for Stephen too, but I didn't care about the risks, and neither did Stephen. We were in it together. I cannot wait to hear more about this plan. I'm so curious how they're going to change school and change the way everyone thinks. It kind of reminds me of Nick in Friendle with his great idea to rename the pen. All right, your questions for today. I will read them to you real quick. After Nora tells Stephen the whole story, he thinks she is a spy. Do you think she was a spy all these years? Why or why not? Number 2, how do Stephen and Nora work together to form a partnership? Number 3, predict how Stephen and Nora's friendship will be different from now on. Can't wait to read your questions or your answers to these questions. And I can't wait to keep reading our book with you. I will see you next time.